What's up, good people? Welcome back for another one. We're back on the Street Bob this time. Today we're going to be installing a few things. First of all, if you know, the Street Bobs have the side-mounted license plate. Never was a fan of it. If you've watched my earlier videos when I first got the Street Bob, I did the little mod where you take the license plate this way and you flip it this way and gives you a little more room on one side. So that was good for a little bit. But I wasn't happy with it. So I actually found this by TC Choppers, or TC Bros Choppers. It mounts under the rear of your fender, attaches to the struts on the inside, so it looks pretty clean. It was actually very affordable. I want to say right around $100. There's another company that makes them too, and it's a curved license plate. If you like that, that's probably a little more than twice the price, and I probably would have went that route, but every time I went looking for it, it was sold out. So we're going with this. I've used TC Bros on a lot of stuff, never had an issue. Good quality, comes with all the replacement hardware, and you know my favorite, instructions. So I figured while I'm going that route, I wanted to do something about the rear turning signals. And I'll show you in a minute here. I actually have the Harley LED halos that you put into the factory turn signals. I had them on my Road King for a little bit, and then when I went with the custom filler panels from Custom Dynamics, I didn't have use for them until I got the Street Bob. So I figured, why not? Let's throw it on. And it'll look cooler until we find a better solution. My main issue initially with the stock rear turning signal slash brake light was with my Viking bags. It kind of made everything kind of cramped. Like, you know, the bags wouldn't sit where I really wanted to. They kind of push forward. So what I ended up getting were these. These are made by Alloy Art. It's a fender strut light. So I can use this. If this is the rear fender, it just, not on this, but it just slides over. And so it's flush with the fender. I've got a smoke light here. Looks really nice. This is a 4-wire kit. And for those of you who don't know, the Softails, at least mine, comes with a 3-wire harness kit from the factory light and all that. So I did start doing research to try to find out how I can, utilize, all the wires and everything and get everything colored the way I wanted to get colored. But me not being a person of patience, I've decided I'm just going to wire it up a certain way so I can get them on, get used to them, and then, if I find a solution along the way, and I'm sure there's something out there, I'll certainly update you guys and show you guys how I take care of that. So one thing I have that isn't necessary, if I can find it, I've got these little pigtails here. This came with a kit from Custom Dynamics. I believe it's a rear tail light adapter kit. So I had this. I also had this. So I said, you know what? It comes with heat shrink. Just easier to splice the ends here instead of cutting and repinning and stuff like that. So this isn't required for doing it the way I'm going to do it. But again, if you have this and you don't feel like cutting the main wires and all the other stuff, I feel like it'll go pretty good. So let's get started. We'll take the rear fender off because you got to do that to get to everything you need to get to, and we'll get this thing going. Okay, before I get started with the teardown, I just want to show you guys a few things. If we come in here, these are your turn signal wires on your Street Bob. Your gray one is for the left side. The black one, if you follow the routing, goes over to the right side. And because there's no tail light for this bike, this itself supplies power for the license plate light. So we're just going to unplug these 3 things and then we're going to remove the struts here. You have 2 bolts on this side, 2 bolts on the other side. I probably have to remove the sissy bar, more than likely, because I got to get the fender up. So I'll take this out as well. These are my support things for the straps for the Viking bag. So we'll get this guy off. We'll take these off, take the whole piece off, unplug it. It'll just make everything easier to do it at the bench. I've seen people just unbolt this, I think, and then they just kind of tilt the rear fender up. So if you don't have a sissy bar, you can do that. I think mine would be in the way if I tried to do that. So I'll start by unplugging these harnesses. These guys are already loose. This is a T45 is what I use for that. So I'm just going to loosen these up as well. Loosen that up, take it all off, and I'll see you at the bench. Something else I also wanted to show you guys too. There is a bolt, same T45 on the inside. It's right here. The last thing that holds the strut to the fender. These guys are a little tight. You can see they do have Loctite from the factory there. So got to take this off. It'll just make it easier to access the strut. Alright, so we got the struts off. You see the whole wire from the turning signal, how it's routed through here and out the other end. So we're going to take the OEM light off. This is a T40, by the way. Nice long bolt. And then this is just like foamy tape here. Just gonna peel this back. Try not to mess it up. I'd like to be able to reuse it. There you have it. The old turn signal. Those were the halo lights from Harley. 2-piece. So this all together. Didn't have to cut it. Just gonna put this off to the side, and then we'll work on routing the wires here. So I just slid this on a little bit and I lined up the holes so you can see that there is a bolt that passes through there now. And if you can look right here, there is a slight space for your wire to wrap around. Now these struts don't sit completely flat to the fender, at least mine doesn't. So if anything, I'll probably just shrink wrap this part right here. But first I want to run my wires. Actually, probably should shrink wrap it first. And I do this just so, you know, if you're looking at the fender from the rear, if you do see the wires, you know, this orange, red, and yellow and black won't be as noticeable. It'll be black, so I'm hoping it'll make the install look cleaner when it's all said and done. So I'm going to heat this up and then we're going to run the wires through. Okay, so like I mentioned before, the stock turning signal brake combo uses 3 wires. I believe this is your ground. Purple is your brake, I believe. And blue is your running light. On these by Alloy, you have 4 wires. You have your ground. Orange is your running light. Amber, or what they call amber, well, the red is your brake, and the yellow, which is what they call amber, is your turn signal. So this wire here makes it flash yellow if we were going to hook this up. I'm not going to use this. I'm going to do this with 3 wires, just for now, until I figure out how to utilize, if it's possible, all 4 wires. So what this is going to do, it's going to give me red turning signals. So one of my blinkers on one side will flash when I had the turning signal on, but it'll flash in red. I could swap this and the red wire and make it yellow, but I don't want to have my brake light yellow. So we're going to go with these 3 wires. They're going to connect to these, and I'm going to use these soldering little tubes here to shrink wrap the wires together. And then I'll just go back in here and just tighten these little wires up. Probably put a couple little zip ties in certain locations, and then just shrink this side here, just to kind of keep it all together and uniform. Hopefully look a little neater. So let's get to that, and then I'll show you the other side. The only difference being the license plate light is also included. Okay, so we're going to do the strut on the other side. The other side contains the wire for the license plate light. So that's what you see here. Here's the stock turning signal. All gets looped in here. I will have to cut this end because, as luck has it, the hole's not big enough to pass this through, which is fine because, again, I have the Custom Dynamics soft tail relocation kit, and it comes with a harness for this as well. This has a 3 wire pair. We're only going to be using 2 outside wires on this one, as this is just for the license plate light. So same thing like the other side. Feed the new one through, heat, shrink, and shrink wrap my connections. So the light for the license plate actually has this little cover on it, and these little T15 screws. So you take those screws out, pop the little door out, and this little fixture comes right out. And it's kind of pressed into this bracket here. So you got to gently pry it out. There you go. All right, so here's the bracket, stock turning signal. We can put that off to the side. Now we can work with the light. and the turning signal. Now the light's going to go on the license plate relocation kit, so I'm going to put that off to the side for now and run the wire here. Alright, moving on to the license plate bracket, we're going to install the factory light. TC Bros gives you a little piece of black adhesive. It's going to go across the top of this light here. So I guess the focus of the beam is pointing down and not out. Just going to run this through here. And they also provide the hardware to bolt it down. I just wanted to get that started to show you. So you get 2 bolts with some nylon threaded nuts. Get those in there and that part is done. So one final note before we put this all back together. Alloy Art does not give you the bolt, the nut and bolt to secure the strut light to the strut. So that's something you're gonna have to figure out yourself. I went to the local auto parts store, picked up a assorted nut and bolt set. So I found some black ones. I'm just gonna use these for now. I've heard people use license plate screws, so that may be a way you can take care of this part. But other than that, I'm just going to tighten this up real quick. And that's what I got. Looks okay. It's black on black, so I think you know, it'll blend in pretty good, at least for now. I've got my wire tucked in behind these little foam tape things, and I've got my solder connections from Custom Dynamics harness. So now it's just a matter of attaching this stuff back to the fender, including license plate relocation, and then plugging everything in. Okay, we've got it pretty much all buttoned up. One of the things I wanted to point out was how I ran the wire from the license plate light. I actually tie strapped it in a few places right along the outer strut bar, if that's what you want to call it, of the plate itself. And there's a large hole here that I fed the wire through. So that's how I did that. I'll just turn it this way so you guys can see what the strut looks like from the side. Way more cleaner. I think the black glue blends in nice. I'm gonna go ahead and mount this. You can see I did the sissy bar and everything, used the same bolts that came with the sissy bar, as they're extended compared to what you get for the TC Bros, which doesn't account for this. This is also from TC Bros, by the way, if you haven't seen that video. So all that's left to do is attach it to the frame and plug it in, and we'll do what we always do. Take it for a test drive and show you guys what it looks like. So before we take it out, just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. I know it's black on black on black, but at least you get an idea here. Here's your running lights. If I squeeze the brake light, turning signal, turning signal. So it looks good. The only thing left to do is slap the license plate on and take it for a spin. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's take her out. I'll show you what it looks like outside in the daylight. So there's what she looks like on the outside. So far so good. Everything was working good. As you can see, like I was saying before, struts don't sit flat, so it's enough space for that wire to go back there. Just be careful you don't pinch anything. Came out pretty clean. Wires to be seen there. All in all, I think it cleans up the back end real well. Takes that plate off the side, slims it down a little bit. So happy about the fit, happy about the look. I think we're making progress. If any of you guys know how to make that amber light work with the turning switch, the turning signal, I'd love to hear it. If not, I will do my research, and if it can be done, I will figure it out. Let me turn this on for you so you can see what it looks like with the lights on in the daylight. Right. And there you go. So as always, appreciate you guys stopping by. If you like videos like this, please consider liking and subscribing. We've got plenty of other things coming up here, so love to share it with you. As always, you guys be safe, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.